Y'all, let's be honest for a second. Sometimes you could be doing everything right financially and you still seem like you cannot get ahead. I've been there before, paying my bills on time, checking my credit, making sure that everything is looking good, but it still seemed like I was not getting ahead. And so, because I've been there before, I'm going to tell you today in this video my top 5 debt traps, the little sneaky little devils that you would never think that if you're not paying attention can really be eating up that extra income or preventing you from saving for your emergency fund or preventing you from paying things off and being able to enjoy life, enjoy what your fruits of your labor has, bestowed upon you, because you're always shoveling it out and you can't see where that money is going. So in today's video, we're going to talk about that. So do me a favor, guys, make sure that you like this video, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you leave me a comment and let me know if any of these debt traps you are currently in and what is your plan to get out of that debt trap going into 2026. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get into debt trap number 1. Debt trap number 1 is the minimum payment mentality. That's right, the minimum payment mentality. So I know you're saying, well, I'm making the payment. It's the minimum that they say I got to pay in order for me not to have a late payment on my credit report. That way I can keep my credit card. But I'm going to tell you, the minimum payment is just barely enough, right? It's just barely enough. It's enough to cover the interest and a little bit of principal. And so that's how they keep you in the debt trap, because giving that little small little minimum payment in your face is not helping you pay that debt down. Trust me, if you're not new to my channel, y'all know my debt journey. I was in credit card debt, it seemed like, for at least 10 years, because all I was paying was the minimum payment. But once I started realizing how much I was paying in interest, I don't even want to talk about how much money I threw away in just making a minimum payment and was not actually touching the principal on those credit card payments. So if you are paying just the minimum payment right now, if you're me, if you were me, okay, I want you to go ahead and start a plan today to start paying more than just the minimum payment. I don't care if it's only $5 or $10. Pay more than the minimum payment. So therefore, more is going to the principal, which is the part that you really need to be tackling, because just satisfying the interest will keep you in a debt trap. Debt trap number 2 is the buy now, pay later addiction. Now, I know it's attractive. They got Klarna, they got Afterpay, they got Shop Pay, they got, what is it, PayPal Pay. I mean, they got all kinds. They got all kinds. So it's always in your face. It's always some way that you can make 4 little small installments. And that's all right for one. But when you start creeping up and having 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 of those different installments going on at one time, and then you can't figure out where your money's going because you got all this sucking up out your account every 2 weeks, debt trap, debt trap. Okay. Because, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that I've never done an Afterpay before. I've done it before on some things that I probably shouldn't have been buying because I didn't want to get out the cash to pay it. Right. And I looked at myself like, Starr, now you know what this is about. So you don't need to be doing this. You don't need to be doing it. So I did it one time and I haven't done it again. Right. And so, but a lot of us, we get caught up in that because of those 4 easy payments. And then I'm thinking, oh, I can put this on here and I don't have to put it on my credit card. And this is no interest and da 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 da. All the things that we say to make us justify creating a debt that we don't really need. So if you are in any of the buy now, pay later debt traps, I would say go ahead, make your plan to start paying these things off and make your grand exit and leave those things alone. And what we can do is we can start planning for the things that we want. Start setting aside those 4 little small installments into a savings account. And once you have built up the money to actually pay cash for it, then you can pay cash. Because look, if you can spend it in 4 weeks, 4 easy payments, 4 easy installments, and have it paid off in 6 weeks or however long it takes you, then you can save that same amount of money at that same rate and pay for it cash, right? All right. Debt trap number 3 is using credit as an emergency fund. And I know you've heard it. People say, okay, I got a credit card in my wallet just in case of emergencies and stuff like that. And no, 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 we got to get out of that habit because really we need to be building an emergency fund. We don't need to think about if our tire blow out, we're going to swipe our credit card, or we have emergency trip or something like that. Something happens that we need to have some cash, we're going to swipe a credit card as an emergency fund, right? Now, if you have a credit card on you that you use for emergencies, but you have an emergency fund to be able to pay that card back off, that's cool. But I don't want you to look at credit as your own money because that's how you get over leveraged. That's how you end up being in a debt trap because now you're looking at this credit card as your own money and it's fueling your lifestyle, especially emergencies are normally big, right? They're normally big things that's going to cost you a lot of money because it's happening out of the norm. So you want to make sure that if you do use a credit card for an emergency, that you already have an emergency fund that can pay that card back off. You don't want that debt to linger because if you don't have the money, then you're going to be looking at making payments. And if you're not able to pay it back off, then you're going to be making minimum payments, like I just told you. So we want to get out of all these different ways that can cause us to be in debt. And so using your emergency fund with credit is not a good look. So guys, make sure that we are getting away from that debt trap as well. Debt trap number 4 is lifestyle creep. So when your income goes up, you want to get yourself something nice, or you finally can afford whatever that thing is. And so you want to get that newer model car because the car you got looks like a piece of crap now compared to your income. Or you want to get a bigger home because that apartment is not doing it. Or you already got a nice home and you want a bigger home than what you already have. Whatever the excuse is, because now you're making more money. So lifestyle creep can be one of those debt traps as well, because some people want to spend at the same rate as they earn. And when you're doing that, you're just setting yourself up for failure because eventually you'll end up being paycheck to paycheck, and you never want to be paycheck to paycheck. You want to make sure that you have a gap between what is coming in and what is going out. You want to make sure that everything that you're spending on makes sense and that you're spending below what you make. So what they say, living below your means, because you don't want to get in the debt trap chasing your lifestyle or chasing the money that you make. That's how people that can have 6-figure incomes still live paycheck to paycheck like somebody that's making $10 an hour. That's how that happens. So you want to make sure that you avoid those type of debt traps. Lifestyle creep, it can creep up on you. Number 5 is the credit rewards debt trap. Now you can be like, credit rewards, like swiping that old credit card and getting the rewards for using that card. But I'm going to tell you, it's only good if you're not carrying a balance. If you are carrying a balance, then the rewards you get is null and void because you're really paying the banks more than what they're rewarding you at the end of the day. So the only time those cash rewards or those travel points or whatever it is good for you is when you're not carrying a balance and you're paying it off every month on the statement, like you should be paying off that statement balance. But if you are carrying a balance and you're call yourself, well, I use my card because I'm getting a reward. You're not getting rewards if you're still giving the bank interest. So you got to make sure that you are paying the cards off. If not, then that's a debt trap that's taking you back to the minimum payment because you can't afford to pay it off. So we got to make sure that we don't get caught up in the rewards trap. It's a lot of people want to carry around the cards that have the big high annual fees because like the American Express Platinum and stuff like that because of the prestige and you want to be in the lounge, but really you can't afford to pay the card off. You could barely afford the annual fee. So you don't want to get caught up in those type of traps with those type of credit cards. You want to make sure that every purchase that you make, you can afford to pay cash. You can afford to pay it right back off. Either on the statement date or before the statement date. You just want to make sure that you are able to pay those purchases off. So building an emergency fund, making sure you're not getting into the minimum payment debt trap, the buy now, pay later debt traps. using your credit for emergency funds, the rewards debt trap. So all these different ones, you want to make sure, guys, that we're building our wealth the right way. So thank you so much for tuning into this video today. I hope you liked it. This is something a little different. Again, I'm in my office at work, so this is a little different from me, but I did not want to go another week and not give you guys a video. So let me know in the comments, have you fell for any of these debt traps? And I'm going to see you in the next video.